This is dispatches from r/polyamory, the subreddit where adults in their 30s invent problems that cavemen already solved. I read 100 posts so you do not have to. I emerged changed. I emerged with questions. Who hurt these people, and why are they calling it growth?
Oh baby, we are going in.
An entire subreddit of people discovering that math gets harder when you add a third variable.
Polyamory, for the uninitiated, is the radical spiritual practice of having the same problems as monogamy, but with more people and a Google Calendar. Its believers insist it is not, quote, just cheating with extra steps. End quote. The evidence, dear listener, is not promising.
She said she made a color-coded spreadsheet for her feelings.
She has reinvented marriage, but with a Jira board.
Tonight 5 letters, 5 real posts from real people. Real names have been kept because, frankly, they earned it. We begin with a lawyer in an apron. Letter the first, r/non-monogamy, the title. My wife laughed at me and broke me.
That is a title. That is a feature film title.
Quote, we are in our 30s, we have 3 young kids. She raised the idea of opening. I did not want or need other romantic relationships. End quote. He says he agreed because he wanted to make her happy. Reader, take note. This sentence appears in 90% of these letters. It is the polyamory version of last words.
I wanted to make her happy, chiseled into every tombstone in the cemetery of nice guys.
Quote, the extra love she showed me at the beginning of opening was gone so quickly. Being open appeared to slowly drain all of her empathy, compassion, and sexual passion for me. End quote.
Oh no.
He fights for one rule. He does not want her boyfriends inside their family home. Quote, we have enough money for hotels, it does not need to happen. End quote. His line in the sand, the hotel line.
The Geneva Convention of Polyamory, Article 1, not in my house.
She crosses the line. Of course she crosses the line. She brings the boyfriend to a backyard barbecue he is hosting for his friends, who do not know they are open.
At his own barbecue. His own barbecue.
Nothing says committed boundary like watching your wife arrive with a +1 at the party you are grilling for.
The boyfriend, and I quote our narrator directly, was cocky, and every other word out of his mouth was a slight. End quote. Our husband, the lawyer, is wearing an apron. He is grilling. The wife's boyfriend looks at him, doubles over laughing, and says, quote, I cannot not see you wearing an apron, kneeling in the garden, gardening in an apron while your wife is off having the best sex of her life. End quote.
In his house to his face, while he is grilling his burgers.
I have heard of workshopping a set at an open mic. I have never heard of workshopping it at the victim's barbecue.
And here is the moment. Quote, my wife laughed at his shaming joke at my expense. I looked at her and said, really, honey, and she just kept giggling, something broke in me. End quote.
She giggled.
She giggled, the sound of a marriage concluding.
He walks inside. He pours himself an extra Anijo tequila he only brings out for special occasions. And then, and this is the sentence I want tattooed on the inside of my eyelids, quote, I texted my friend from law school and told him to get started on a petition for dissolution. End quote.
He filed from the grill.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fastest injection of billable hours in American legal history.
He ends the post with this line. Quote, I am an attractive, fit, successful attorney and I am begging my wife to just treat me with kindness. She takes offense when I make that ask. End quote. There are no villains in polyamory, the community insists. Only communication failures. The lawyer in the apron would like a word. Letter the second, r/polyamory. The title is a whole short story. Quote, Meta gave husband an ultimatum, me or her, he left last night. End quote.
Oh no, this is the karma speedrun.
Before we continue, a glossary. A meta is your partner's other partner. Polyamory has more words for people you are angry with than the Inuit have for snow.
A meta, someone you share a husband with on a weekly rotation, previously known as the other woman.
Our author writes, quote, I, 25, have been happily married for 5 years. We have been polyamorous for 3. There were ups and downs, but above it all we were happy. End quote. And then her husband's girlfriend, Jane, 27, decides she is done sharing. Quote, Jane told my husband she did not want to be poly and told him to choose between her and me. I did not think he was actually considering it, but he left last night. End quote.
She did not think he was considering it.
A fundamental rule of polyamory, never ask a hinge what they are considering. You will not enjoy the answer.
Here is the line that will haunt me. Quote, I need some support from people who are not going to blame polyamory. I live deep in the Bible Belt and my family has spoken negatively about my life choices. End quote. She is in the Bible Belt. Her husband of 5 years just left her, for his girlfriend of 3. And the thing she fears most, dear reader, is not the divorce. It is her mother being right.
She will not tell Mom.
There is no pride like the pride of a woman in Tennessee who refuses to let her Baptist aunt have the last word.
She closes the post with an edit. Quote, he just came home to get clothes. I told him we will remain friends. If he and Jane break up, my couch is available if he needs it. End quote.
Her couch is available to the man who left her.
Offering your couch to the husband who dumped you is not grace. It is a hostage note written in cursive.
Polyamory teaches you to love without possession. It does not appear to teach you how to stop offering your couch to people who are actively setting your life on fire. Letter the 3rd, same subreddit. The title, quote, update on husband and his girlfriend wanting to have a baby. End quote. I swear to you I did not make that up.
A baby, they want a baby.
Nothing completes a polyamorous arrangement like adding a mortgage and a human you cannot return.
The wife writes, quote, I asked what he thinks about her request to get her pregnant. He said he really loves her, and if that is what makes her happy, he would do it in a heartbeat, if it was up to him only. End quote.
If it was up to him only, sir, you are married.
Heartbeat, the man said heartbeat, he would do it in a heartbeat. The lack of self-awareness is, frankly, breathtaking.
The wife, to her credit, responds with what I can only describe as a war crimes tribunal. 2 options, quote, option 1, we divorce and you can get Sarah pregnant. You explain the whole thing to our children. Option 2, you get snipped before touching Sarah or any other woman again. End quote.
Option 2, the snip, she said the snip.
In the long and illustrious history of ultimatums, this is the first one I have ever cheered for.
Her final line, quote, I'm not asking you to be monogamous with me, but I demand you get snipped. End quote. I want to submit this sentence to the Library of Congress. This is genuinely one of the great sentences in the English language.
I am not asking you to be monogamous, but I demand you get snipped.
She has discovered a third, previously undiscovered form of love, spite.
Letter the 4th, r/non-monogamy. The title, quote, just got back from a first date. It was going really well until his wife showed up. End quote.
Until his wife showed up.
Our author is a woman with autism and ADHD on a first date with another man with autism and ADHD. It is going, in her words, really well. She is attracted to him. He is not draining her social battery. She is having, by neurodivergent standards, a miraculous evening.
A successful 3-hour first date for 2 people with ADHD is, statistically, rarer than a solar eclipse.
Quote, at the 3-hour mark I got up to use the restroom. When I came back he was on his phone and told me his wife would be joining us. I thought he was joking until I saw his face. He also told me she was mad. End quote.
She is mad, she is coming, and she is mad.
Nothing elevates a first date like the mid-date introduction of a hostile third party who drove here specifically to witness you.
He gets up to use the bathroom. Our author is left alone at the table while the wife materializes like the ghost of marriages past. Quote, she tells me her husband usually is not out with someone this long, and he did not check in with her. End quote.
He did not check in, he did not check in.
Clocking in and clocking out of dates, a truly modern form of romance.
Here is the detail. In her screening questions, she had specifically asked him if he and his wife had veto power over each other's partners. He told her no. He told her he thought veto power was unfair.
He thought veto power was unfair.
And he demonstrated this commitment by allowing his wife to drive across town and execute the veto in person.
He ends the date, he ghosts her. And then he messages her later not to apologize but to argue, quote, technically that was not a date. I said I was looking for friends, end quote.
Oh, buddy.
Brother, you do not get to argue the definition of a date when your wife arrived to break up the date you were on.
And now the final letter. The one I could not stop thinking about, letter the 5th, r/polyamory, the title, quote, I threw away my future for polyamory. End quote.
Oh.
Oh no.
Our author is 52 years old. 15 years ago, when he was 37, he and his girlfriend of 11 years were thinking about having a baby. He felt, and I quote, like we had skipped over a whole adventurous part of our lives, end quote. He proposed an open relationship. She agreed. It worked for him, he felt no jealousy. He felt, in the language of the community, compersion. For her it was a slow apocalypse. She was afraid he would leave her. They did the work, they read the books, they saw the therapist. None of it worked.
They did the work.
The work, polyamory's most expensive and least effective load-bearing wall.
They concluded they would not have a child together. They broke up. He writes, quote, I felt a deep, deep wound as if I had amputated part of myself, but it was for the best. The parley circles I was in confirmed this. End quote. And here is where the post becomes something else. Because 15 years pass. He dates interesting women, some relationships last years, but no one settles down, no one wants to have his children, and one by one they all move on.
15 years.
He writes, quote, I am 52 now. I wanted to open up my relationship because I thought discovering more people would teach me love. Instead I learned that variety is the spice of life but not the spice of love. End quote. And then this, quote, the genius of monogamy lies in pretending uniqueness. When we say I love you, we are saying the same thing untold billions have said throughout history. But by pretending it is unique, it becomes unique. End quote.
He wrote that in a post, not in a book, in a post.
He closes the letter with the line I cannot stop repeating. Quote, my ex found a new partner a year later. They had a baby. She is now 49 and a happy mother of 2. I am looking at an empty future where I am hoping to build what we used to have. End quote. Quote, polyamory has only brought me loneliness and superficiality. Soon I will be truly old, and I will not share a home with someone who has come to know me over decades. End quote.
He traded her for everyone, and he got no one.
The most expensive spice rack in the world.
5 letters. 5 people who read the books, saw the therapist, did the work, used the correct vocabulary, and still ended up writing to strangers at 3 in the morning about a man who marks aprons. The community will tell you these posts are not representative, that for every lawyer in an apron there is a functioning triad sharing a mortgage and a glitter collection. And that may even be true. But across 100 posts, across 3 subreddits, I will tell you what I noticed. Nobody ever says, I have found peace.
Nobody says peace.
They say growth, they say work, they say journey, never peace.
This has been dispatches from r/polyamory. I remain your correspondent. Tell your therapist I sent you, and for the love of God, if your wife suggests opening the marriage, do not grill the burgers that day.
Do not grill the burgers.
Let the burgers be someone else's problem.